Morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Coffee with Coach. Um, I have an amazing guest for you, but I'm excited that you are here with me today, that you decided to spend time here. You could have been anywhere else in the world, including sleeping and resting. So thank you for taking time out of your sleeping and resting to come and chill and be here with us. We are most grateful. Thank y'all for that. Your host today, we had AJ on yesterday, AJ Houston, and because of the time difference, we had a little miscommunication. So I was able to move some guests around, and he will be here today. And we're going to talk about. If you don't know him, you need to know him. He's one of the authors, man, and I love to hear him talk about this book right here, the Black Book of Black. Like this book, I'm falling in love with. I have another book of his too that I'm going to show you that I have, and the reading. I suggest you listen to him, hear him, so that you can understand the cadence. And then when you read the book, you will not be able to read the book without hearing his voice. And I'm very pleased and honored for that. And B City, what's up, lady? I'm very honored about that. So, but he is here, and I'm not going to take a lot of time before I bring him up because the brother is serious and he is going to bring the fire. And the only thing I'm suggesting y'all do is sit back and turn your ears on and turn your mind on to the open dial. Open your mind, open your thoughts, because a lot of times we're so closed-minded we miss everything. But today is going to be an amazing day. It has already started. And it's my honor to be here in your presence. And I'm glad you was able to accept me for coming on your screen today. So thank you for that. And yeah, I'm just going to bring my brother up because it's all good. And I want y'all to welcome to my platform. Welcome, Mr. AJ Houston. AJ, my brother.
What's up? Let me tell you what I learned.
What's that?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wow. You learned that this morning?
Yeah, because my wife has a friend that needs some help. So her and her son, and her son is deaf. So I told him I'm gonna learn sign language because he's 14.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hang with him. I'm gonna learn sign language so I can talk to him and see what he's about. He has a TikTok account, and I told him I said I'm opening a TikTok account just so I can tell people to follow you.
Wow.
Because I'm so proud of him because he's deaf, and on his TikTok account he don't care. You hear his voice. Oh, you hear his voice, and that's so awesome, man. And it's awesome to see people unafraid of where they are. We have so many grown people, so many people that are real, so many poets say, I've never read a poem, I've never done this, I don't do open mics. But he's deaf and not afraid of his voice. And put it out there like, hey, you ain't got to understand me, it's okay. I want to do this, so this is what I'm doing.
There's a magic. Well, before we go there, let me let you introduce yourself. Tell people who you are, where you're from, because brother, you already know. Once we start, it's over. Everything else is done, right? So let's do that first.
Okay. Well, my name is AJ Houston. AJ Houston on anywhere on Facebook. AJ Word Artist on Twitter and Instagram. I have an AJ Houston on YouTube too, but I'm creating another one. We'll get into that. But I'm a writer, poet, publisher. I do creative writing classes, but my classes are called Create It Writing, because I think anything that you can think, anything that we use, whether it's a TV, whether it's a video game, whatever, was written first. So whatever you want to do, we can create it writing, but we have to understand that there's a complex addition to what we write to manufacture imagination to go with it. So how do you write that includes imagination? So that's the whole thing.
Wow. There's such a magic when people get to understand your own power, right? Because a lot of times we don't. A lot of times we don't acknowledge our own power. And I think that's our biggest, one of our biggest issues is that we don't acknowledge our own power. We're so stuck on everything else and we don't even look more.
And sometimes just consider ourselves the hook. Say we're just Benjamin Banner with a pen till we spit.
Yeah. And then that's a whole nother world.
And when you spit, you the hook. You say, you won't like me when I spit.
You know what's so profound about that? When BlackBerry turned Respect the Mic over to me, one of the things we did in slam practice, he said, listen, when you go to slam, make them like you first. And I thought about that, right? So it's give them a representative of who they're going to see. Now, this is me, but now I'm going to take you someplace else. But you already gave them what you need. It's like introduction. I'll walk up to you and say, yo, man, my name is Ja. Hey, how you doing? I'm Ja. You know what I mean? Give them that. And then you can turn to the Hulk and it's all good.
but I'm saying, but that was, okay, when I did performance classes, I would tell people, I say, when you walk up to the stage, greet the people silently. I say, you stand up to the mic, you adjust the mic, you look to the right from end to end. Take your time. Let your eyes greet everybody's eyes. It only takes about 10, 15 seconds. It's not a long time. And you like, and then you might see a smile, you say, okay, that's the area I'm looking at when I'm doing my poem. See a smile, I'm gonna look over there when I'm doing my poem. So right now, you're trying to see which direction you're gonna send your words, send your verses. And then once you greet people, you adjust the mic, and then you step back, then you say, that was me. Yeah. But all this is just non-verbal. And then we step to the mic, you say, believe me, I don't want to share this with you, but God told me to, so brace yourself. So brace yourself. This ain't finna be no ride, this is a spaceship.
This ain't no 72 and a deuce. We going in the aircraft, baby.
It's a spaceship and it's bumpy. It's bumpy.
I think there's I always tell you there's a profound language and vibration in your speech, let alone your poem. There's a presence there that some people just have that gift. I don't call it magic. It's not magic. It is a gift because everybody don't have that. Magic means I can actually make it appear away.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. You're not making it appear away. It's just who you are because it comes out in both regular conversation with you and when you're performing and when you're reading a piece, whatever, And I am a huge fan of that, let alone the writing, right? The writing makes it another thing, but just to have that, everybody don't have that. I was talking to Star on here the other day, and she was saying that she comes from a generation of men who are, I believe she was saying they were preachers, and her mother's a professional orator. So she had been born with something that people have to train to get.
But now we don't know what practice looks like around us. It's not, they weren't practicing. She was silently practicing because she saw how it worked.
Saw how it worked.
She saw the call and response, saw the gradual movement up and the gradual movement down. She heard the sadness in the voice. She saw all this in growth. So after years of seeing it, you don't know that you know.
Right.
Because a lot of times you get up and you've always ran around the corner with kids, and I always see this, and they say, hey, you want to run track? You say, man, I've never ran track. But you've been practicing all your life. You just didn't know it. So you get out there and run and say, whoa, man, you fast. You say, oh, I know I was fast. I run everybody in my community. But I never ran track.
Never ran track.
Which nobody said I never ran this. I never ran this organized sport that you're trying to teach me. But I can run long distance. I done ran from the police. I done ran everywhere. I ain't never been caught. So but we don't know how life teaches us things that we need, and we don't know that we need them until the time arrives. Because you come with a new concept of a poem. You say, man, I remember my grandmother used to tell me something like that. What did my grandmother say? She say, when you pick cotton, it's easy to pick cotton, but it's a great day when you don't get pricked. Mm. So I was trying to figure out, how does cotton and great day dance in the same sentence?
Right.
But I didn't know that until I started writing the poem, I was like, man, these things don't go together. So God took the best parts of our greatest writers in Dallas dirt and created AJ Houston. No, man, but in Dallas, that's what we did, man. We went to everybody's venue.
Mm-hmm.
We had like three venues. We had Forward Slams, we had Fifth Avenue, we had other places in Arlington, and we'd have open mics and we'd have slams, and I had Battle of the Flows. I did Battle of the Flows in Arlington, not in Fort Worth. It was it was a Hispanic-owned theater.
Okay.
So I went and talked to him, and he was like, sure. They had a green room, they had all these things. So when I started having events, I had ports come from everywhere, all over Texas and New York and other places. And when the ports came in, they with their peeps. And I said, hey, I said, are you performing?
Yeah.
Are you in flow? And I already had the cash in envelopes. First, second, third, fourth, fifth. I paid 5 places.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
And I say I said, because everybody will travel if they say, I can get 5th place and get more than I spent to get in. He said, and I know I'm the 5th best poet in this joint. if not the first, because you can't get first. Yeah, but what I do is I told all the poets, I said, come on, you got to go to the green room. So all the poets in the green room, there's fruit, there's tea, there's beer, there's whatever you want is in the green room. Mm-hmm. But you're away from your peeps. So now you got to talk to people you only met, you never talked to. So that was really the first time poets began to talk to poets, to see that other poets were real people too.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
That was the whole idea, is like, let me show them what it feels like to be somewhere for real. Because now I had Mike Gwynn co-host with me, or Janine co-host with me. So we come up on the stage, introduce. I have Anthony Sacrifice. I had my friends that, and I had my best friend, his name was Jamal Clark. Okay. He called himself Silence. He just passed away April the 1st this year of COVID. Mm. He was 37.
Wow.
And I'm saying, every poem I got in all these 8 books, he heard every one of them. Mm. He and his mother has all 8 books, because he's from New Orleans. Okay. I drive to Louisiana, and we hang out, we do whatever. But it's such a void in your life when somebody that you grew with, somebody that helped you grow, somebody that pulled the weeds out of your thoughts.
Come on.
They're gone. So now I got to tend my own garden and check it. But every time I do, I'm thinking of him.
I'm thinking of him. That voice is still right there.
Yeah. And some sentiment, I just laugh, because I know. Well, I wrote this poem, Black is Black, right? I said it to him. We didn't never talk about it. And about 2 months later, he called me about 4 o'clock in the morning, because I'm always going to bed. I'm always getting up writing. I'm going to bed, getting up writing, because writing, your inside spirit, which is inspiration, doesn't have a clock.
That's right.
So it fucks up your days. They say, why you sleep at 2 o'clock in the evening? Because I just went to bed at 1. But he called me about 4 o'clock in the morning. He said, yo, man, listen to this joint I just wrote. And he read Black is Black to me, but it sounded like he had read it enough times to know where he wanted to put emphasis, because he had his own cadence, man. The favorite poem, I'm gonna show you, the boy was cold, man. He was a freestyler. He did rap. If anybody wanted to rap, I told him, I said, I don't freestyle. I said, Ja, call it. Get it. But his one of my favorite poems by him, he said, this appearance is deafening, trife life included. Put medicine in the melanin when they polluted, I'm dead-eyed. All I do is flow and shoot it. Cock back with the abstract, I'm fluid through your suet. It take years to get perfection, ain't no stopping, I'm gonna do this. But I'm saying that was just the opening. But he say, the melanin when they polluted. I'm like, and me, I always tell them, I say, they keep shooting us with bullets, telling me we're dying of lead poisoning. Mm.
And we getting that lead poison in a whole bunch of other places too, right?
Oh, yeah, in the water, in these deregulations, they keep doing.
I did not know how much medication they put in your regular water coming through your faucet. I didn't realize how much chemicals they have in that water That's why I tell people don't drink purified water. You need to drink spring water. But they put so much stuff in there. You're medicating yourself all day long drinking that water and don't even know.
But the thing is they've had scientists. They've done so many experiments on us.
That's right.
They know the maximum allotted, what is that? Whatever the chemical is in your water, they can check the water and say, okay, as far as this zinc, as far as this aluminum, it's the allotted amount.
Yeah, yeah.
As far as this mercury, it's the allotted amount. As far as this, but you got mercury, you got aluminum, you got all these, you got the whole chart with all the elements in there in your water and don't know it.
Don't even know it. You having a pill party, drinking the bottle.
Having a pill party with some ice in it.
Man, let me ask you, because I probably already know the answer to this, but how long have you been writing, and then where do you get your inspiration from?
Well, that's just it. I've been writing all my life for real. I memorized all of Dr. Seuss books between 2 and 3. My mother thought I could read. I couldn't. I just had a good memory.
Mm-hmm.
So she started making me read newspapers and books and magazines, whatever she could find. She said, here. So I got to read for an hour.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had to do math for an hour. And this was 3 years old. So my father would go to West Dallas across the levee where they played domino. They had a domino shack. Bootleg, sold bootleg liquor and whatever else you wanted. Domino shack. They played spades over here, played big whiz, played pinochle over there, played dominoes in here. And he'd take me and stack up 3 phone books, and I'm sitting on 3 phone books. His domino partner at 4 years old.
Wow.
And we was winning, so he give me $5. I don't know how much money we won. He give me $5. A 4-year-old with $5 in the Emmy Moses or a penny store. Shoot, man, you can't tell me nothing. I'm like, no, man, I'm rich. I'm buying my partner's candy, my friend candy, and we just doing whatever. But that's when I start writing, because I would go to the grocery store, to go wherever my mother, I get a paper bag and write while we shopping in the store. Paper bag and write while we shop, or have pen and paper with me, write while we washing clothes. I always wrote poetry and gave it to her. But the most amazing thing is, no matter what I wrote, I would read it to her. She would say, that is great. Can I have it? And I give it to her. So I grew up thinking that I don't really think what I wrote is great. I just think my mama is the best. Because everything I wrote then, I'd hate to see it now.
Wow.
But I'm saying, but it was practice to say that, look, you cannot sharpen yourself. And what inspiration is in spirit. I truly believe. I believe in the inside of us, we have a cauldron. We have this motivation all around us, but we need somebody every now and then to kick over this cauldron to start our inspiration, our inside spirit to coming out. But when you practice, when you write every day, when you practice, your brain begins to recall so many things that you can't remember because your brain didn't offer it to you, because it said, I'm not wasting my time.
Wow.
So when your body begins to understand that your follow through is formidable. So when you wake up in the morning and say, hey, what about this? Hey, remember this? How, show me how you can do this. Cause see, my man, the love of my life, man, she would give me I give writing prompts to everybody. I was in Dallas, I had creative writing workshops where I just passed out 15 writing prompts. I say, pick one. We're not gonna write on there. Pick one to think about. At the end, we're gonna talk about it. We're not gonna write. I say, because I want to talk about the writing prompt, because I want to see what you see. I said, because I can't teach you creative writing until I see how you creatively think.
Come on.
Because a lot of people want to say, okay, this writing prompt is going to be this. We're going to write this, that, and we're going to box it in because, okay, you're going to write a poem about the lake, and then you're going to say you're on a boat, and then you're going to say the boat is sinking and there's only one life raft. So they writing this scenario like they're trying to write a movie in your mind. But you say, I saw that movie a couple of months ago and I really didn't like it. So give me something that I can dance with. I can create my own music to. That my feet never heard yet. Because I like dancing on pages.
Whew. I'm gonna write that down.
But that was it. So I would write, man. I would write every day, and I was writing. My mother would say, "Oh man, this is awesome. This is great." And my father didn't. He didn't have that language in him,
Uh-huh.
especially on Fridays. Because I in the book, yeah, Making It. There's a poem that say "Made in America." It's not a poem. It's a little essay. Made in America. It's talking about how black men were not alcoholics. Black men were made alcoholics by America, because America wouldn't let black men go into clubs and other places where they can socially drink. So black men put their money together, went to the back door, bought some liquor, went under the shade tree, and we're gonna play dominoes, and I'm gonna drink this liquor till it's gone because I put my money on it. So you start doing this every Friday. So now we've created alcoholics by the process of not participating in this Americanized system.
That's it. That's it.
So the whole thing, and I go with my dad, we play dominoes everywhere. So and me, I just thought it was what everybody did. My dad would take me places, and I shined shoes when I was 6 years old. I started shining shoes at the barbershop.
Wow.
The church my mother played the piano in, she was a minister of music. The pastor had a barbershop, and I go to the barbershop. My dad would shine shoes, so I shine shoes and I dust people off when they get out of the chair. So every weekend I got a pocket full of money. So at school I got a locker full of candy I bought for a penny and I'm selling for a nickel.
Yeah.
But it was just we don't know what music sound like till we listen to how we lived. Because my life is full of songs. And I didn't know what they sound like until I started writing the notes down in words. So sometimes when I spit a poem, I'm singing a song, you just can't hear the melody. But it's a song to me.
Yeah.
So whatever I write may be different to me. It came to me differently than you hear it. But when you hear it, I'm gonna write to where it matters to you some kind of way. Because me, I want to be the magician that changes the way you see life after you hear whatever magic I conjure.
Yeah. Yeah. You do it, bro. I mean, hands down, that's not cliche. That's not, I can think of a million things to say, but I mean, it's obvious. Like I said, when from the beginning, when I don't remember what live you was on. You might have been on Witch's live when I first saw you, but I was like, yo, this brother is out of this world. You know what I'm saying?
No, man, but you too, man. I'm gonna tell you, man, because when I got your book and I just started reading through the books, and I when I got to yours, I was reading, and I read like 3, and then I think the second one or the first one in the book started calling me again and shit. So I had to go back from 3 to 1 or from 3 to 2, and I read it again, and then I just started dancing with the lines. I'm like, let me pull this line out right here and sit it right here. Damn, okay, let me pull this line out and sit it right here. Now, how would I have wrote this poem?
Wow, yeah.
Because that's all I was thinking about. I'm like, this right here is dance. And how, what glorious 2-step can I write to this?
Wow. That's love. That's love. And like I said, I think that I try to tell when poets or not just poets, when writers come to my workshops, I try to tell them, I don't want you to write what I'm giving you. Just take from that, and you have to you own it. So I that's why I like to use images in my workshops, because we can be looking at the same ship, but it's gonna have to tell a different story every time. And I'm going to challenge you against the grain, because if I walk you the same way you've been walking, what the hell you came to my class for?
Oh man,
you've been there already.
Now, but check it out. Every nationals, what I would do writing workshops. They were already poets. I do writing workshops on the roof of some hotel, or by the pool of some hotel, early in the morning or late at night. Have all these people out there writing. It's been spitting poetry all day. I say the object is that we don't usually dance like this. We don't usually hear all these other voices from all these different states, from all these different regions, from all these different cultures, writing what we write. And I did. So last night I saw Blues. I saw Blues on doing an open mic Introverse.
Okay.
I said, damn, that Blues sound. And I'm sitting on bed getting ready to eat. So I click, join. So Blues said, man, what's up? Where you been? So we was talking. And I told him, I said, yeah, man. He said, man, we used to hate seeing y'all, man. Because they'd always put Forward Slams, Charlotte and Dallas, or Forward Slams, New Eurekan and Dallas, or Forward Slams, Denver and Dallas, or Forward Slams, LA and Dallas. But it'd always be them three boxes and say, we gonna weed these people out. But the battle was so formidable.
Mm.
And I remember one year we went to Nationals, and on the way we just started singing something. We was listening to Ludacris and some other things on the way, and listen to T.I. when T.I.'s thing came out.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes my feet hasn't heard. Oh, what's up, Kendra? Thank you. No, but and when we got there, we had bitch in our mouth.
Mm.
We was walking down the street, and cars be honking and waving because everybody there for poetry and shit. And we get there a day or so early, and we didn't stay in the hotel the same people stay with. So we walking, and people say, don't honking on. We say, we Fort Worth, bitch. So and then our first bout, Stephen and Shells had this poem, and the concept of the poem was redecorate yourself.
Mm.
And it was saying, the dead don't know they're dead. That was the opening line. The dead don't know they're dead. And it was like, there are curtains in your life that shouldn't be over the window. It shouldn't be closed. Redecorate yourself, bitch. And that's the way it ended. So every poem we did, that whole National ended with team pieces, us saying bitch at the same time or something. It was just the way it felt. And everybody was like, what the hell got into them? But it was just when you're this cohesive group and you feel it. Because, man, I wrote a team piece. I think it was the first team piece we did in about that had both Dallas Slam teams. We had two Dallas Slam teams. Both Dallas Slam teams had Denver Mercury and had somebody from East Coast. It was either, man, no, it might have been from Atlanta. One of them teams, or from Florida, one of them teams, and us. We pulled a one.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote this team piece. It's called If We Were Prophets.
Mm.
And the whole concept is I wrote it, but everybody had to write their part that if they were a prophet, what they would do.
Wow.
And part of the poem say, I would stop. And when it say stop, we all stopped and held it for about 20 seconds in the middle of the poem.
That's a lifetime in the middle of
I know it, but I'm saying, but Dallas was next. I saw Dallas while we holding. I saw Dallas get up and walk out the venue like, we need to go out here and practice and see what we want. But that was the first team piece I wrote that we got a perfect 50, first port up.
Wow.
First round of Nationals. We got a perfect 50, first port up. And everybody was scrambling. Everybody, because it's hard to recover.
Yeah. First,
you got score creep. You got score creep. But we got a perfect 50, first port up, 5-man team piece.
Wow, that's magic.
So with any other team piece had to be better, or they was gonna get less. So they gotta see. We gotta see individual poems because you gotta change the strategy.
Got to change strategy at that point. Yeah.
But man, we killed everybody that year. Man, we killed it. Made the final stage. We came in third. I think Janine forgot some of her lines and went long. But that was the same year she tied with Anise.
Okay.
Well, she let Anise tie with her.
Okay.
Because they went 4 rounds. They went 4 rounds past the bout. In Indy Championship, only 2 ports left, and they went 4 rounds.
Jeez.
They both getting perfect 50s each time.
And we're not talking about no preliminary slam or no money. We talking about Nats. National.
The Indy Championship.
Jeez, so much.
See, the Indy Championship started in Madison, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Because the team piece championship started in Madison, Wisconsin. Because they took the Indies out and they was gonna make the Indies a different event on a different night.
Mm.
So I'm trying to think. I can't think of her name. It'll come to me in a second. But she said, okay, we're gonna have a team piece finals. So now you got teams vying for, but you had to decide if you're gonna be in this or the team piece final. I'm like, whatever finals gonna be, but we always had somebody going to the Indy finals.
Right. Wow.
But no, man. But it was. I'm saying nationals is such a grooming process. I say it's a grooming process because you hear these poets from all over the nation, but it's not just poets. Just think of it this way. There's this venue in Charlotte or this venue in New York. They got hundreds of people coming through. They're slamming. Then you get these points. So you got the top 15, top 10 poets in this bout, where you knock it down to the top 5 and the 5th person is an alternate, but they've been there with 100. So then you got top 5 people out of 100 from this venue, top 5 people out of 1,000 from this venue, top 5 people out of this venue, and you go to one city. So now you got all these poets that think they're the dopest thing in the world from their city. But there's 108, there was 118 slam teams. That's including France, Africa, Canada, Hawaii, some of the islands. All these people would come together, man, and it was just this barrage of sound.
Yeah.
Just these images danced and these ciphers on the corner and on the street, and you hearing poems you never hear in a slam. And I'm saying it was because I created Street Ports in 2002. What I would do is I would get other ports to come and we go in front of a donut shop or go in front of something else. And I want you to spit your fire. I want you to spit it as loud as you can. And I'm videotaping. So I created, and it was Street Ports. And my company is Not Just Alphabets. So Not Just Alphabets is using words to bring imagination into focus.
Okay.
So I feel like once you write it down, it can no longer be just a grouping of alphabets. It has to mean something.
Yeah.
But those are things that we did to get here. And I'm saying Street Ports was dope. All the ports we met were dope. And we have so many friends. So I used to tell people like Rudy Francisco and Shane Cousin. And did you listen to Shane poem?
I didn't. I didn't get a chance to sit down yesterday, but I ain't forget it.
But all these ports were friends of ours. I'm saying we kind of hung out. When we got to national, we hung out and we just did whatever. But so I keep telling people, I say, you can't, my memory is too good for you to steal something from somebody I know and not know where it came from.
Wow.
So I would tell them, I say, you've been listening to Shane, haven't you? I say, you caught that Rudy that, what's the poem, Rudy's, it's a, God, I'm trying to think of the main Rifter poem. It's a, you don't, it's not pain, it's something. It's a, you wonder where I got these scars. And the whole poem is dope. He say, so I kill myself, put quarters in my eyes so I could pay my way to the ferry to meet you at the pearly gates. And you wonder where I got these scars. I'm saying, but it's a dope poem. Yeah. But I start hearing people borrow a line or something from it. I'm like, hold up. The line don't go in your poem. You need to put it back where you got it from. Because I hear your disjointed images and that one is misplaced.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, I say, if you ask me and you spit a poem and you want me to listen to it, I think it's fire that you are using your voice to tell your story. Now you want me to break down the poem? Are we friends?
Right.
I'm like, cause you might not like my breakdown.
Right.
And see, that's what we did in Fort Worth. We had the Zawadi writers, like 23 poets. We'd write and pass our poems to each other. Everybody had a red pen. So maybe 5 or 6 hands touch your poem. So when you get it back, you don't know how many lines are still standing. But you get used to it. You start trying to see how other people see. See, a lot of times we are so confrontational that I think what you said about my poem is derogatory. I think it's wrong because I'm not used to telling me something they saw in something I wrote because I'm not in charge of your eyes. So I have to listen to how you see so I can see if I can add that to my vision.
Yeah.
So I said, how do I add what you thought you saw in this poem, or subtract it, or write it in a different way where you see what I saw? So now you're beginning to expand the realm of thought, expand the realm of your imagination. So I'm not just including my foundational truths that I thought I grew up with that were lies.
Wow.
Now I'm adding my neighbors, because he said, hey man, that line right there, what if you said it this way? You say, no man, I like the way it rings right now. You say, but you ain't calling nobody. Oh, Kendra said, how would I define poet? To me, a poet is a person that finally believed in the images God feeds them in their mind and begin to write it down and share what they see. See, we become better poets by listening clearer to the angels around us that's also writing, so we can see what God meant for us to write. Because a lot of times, just because God gave me the message don't mean that's how the message is supposed to be. I need to have these other angels listen to it. So, okay, did you hear that on your way down here? You know, is that what you got? They said, no. What I got was this. So now we're collaborating on a team piece that's just full of ideas of mine, but the team piece is a collaboration of imaginations that of people I believe in. I believe in these people, so I'm willing to add your imagination to this line, because I need to fill this line in, because I don't have a dope line in the poem. I got a poem full of dope lines.
Wow.
I don't have no cursing at the end of my poem like it's an impact. I have very few poems with cursing in there. If there's a curse word in the poem, that's what God told me to get it. Don't be mad at me. Talk to God about that.
That's my part right there.
Mr. Wiz, what up? No, but the whole thing is, you know, I think we falling in love with the sound pens make on paper, thinking that's making love. But that is the creative process. But making love is when you read what the pen wrote and understand that it's a baby and can't walk on its own, can't even crawl yet, can't dress itself. So that poem ain't finished, regardless of what you think about that poem. Leave it alone for a couple of days, come back. It's gonna tell you something. It's gonna say, what? Why you put me right here? I don't go right here. I go at the beginning, I go at the end. And you start rearranging things and say, oh, okay, I see. Man, this ain't what I thought it was when I wrote it. Because a lot of times we're given all the ingredients to a cake, but no paper, no. It don't say you got a dozen eggs, so you're gonna put a dozen eggs in the cake, or does it take one or two? You're gonna put a gallon of milk in the cake. So we got all these ingredients. But until we refine the process and understand that all these things don't go in this cake, all these things don't go in this poem. They're on the same page, but that's 3 poems.
Yeah.
Find out which 3 it is.
It's like medicine, right? Medicine can cure you. It can help you get along. Medicine can also kill your ass, can't it? Right?
I heard that when you started. I was like, well, that's a bad thing if you thinking that you just gonna do this. You just got this bottle with no wrapping on it, don't even know what it is, and the doctor say take 2
and call them in the morning. You might not see them on them.
Now, is it take 2 every 20 minutes, every 2 hours, every day? So we don't even know. See, we don't listen well enough to understand that we're given directions.
Yeah. Sometimes
we have to be silent long enough to understand where we're supposed to go on this page.
Yeah.
You know, why did I get this beginning? Because a lot of times you can hear a poem that's forced, that has a forced ending. Because it's like you were flying, and what you do, catch a bus at the end? It's like, you know, how did you get there?
Yeah.
So my whole thing is, a lot of times the ending might not be today. You might need to leave it alone. The ending gonna come on the weekend.
Right. Yeah.
Cause me, man, I hear images. I don't hear words. I hear images, and I hear images with a thesaurus and a dictionary and an encyclopedia with it. And I'm like, Now I got to research this shit. Because every poem I write, I research. I'm writing a poem now. It's called Unforgiven. But Unforgiven is America.
Mm.
So now I got to Google all these Indian tragedies, Trail of Tears, and all these other things on how America kept moving them from place to place just because they found something there.
Yeah.
I got to Google who's getting paid for all the cages at the border, because you got friends been making $1 million every month or more. So who's getting that money, and how long these kids been in cages, and what's the weather like, and what they feeding these kids, and do they have doctors? So I got to Google all this because, and then I got to figure out, okay, so when General Granger came to Texas with this army, Texas only let the slaves go because he had an army backing him. It wasn't his words. It was like, look, these slaves been free for 2.5 years. You had two more planting seasons, 2 more harvests. Y'all let them go.
Mm-hmm.
I said, well, okay. And then Texas said, okay, we're going to write a law that there's no loitering. So if we catch you stopped anywhere or doing nothing, we're going to recapture you and bring you back here and put you to work again. And we don't know how long your servitude is going to be this time.
Right.
So, and then you Google all these things, you find out, okay, so what was the population of America then? So you say, so how many hearts was that were black?
Mm.
So you say, what's the population of America now, because they're still doing the same thing? How many hearts would it take to tell these indigenous people that live here that they can vote now, that it's okay, that please forgive us?
Yeah.
How many hearts would it take to tell people across the border, or the people on the border, or the people stranded on the other side of the border in these cages, please forgive us?
Yeah.
How long would it take for they say George Floyd was sorry? So Unforgiven is a piece that I have to build, and I'm reading everything in it. What's up, Emmanuel? Yeah, I'm reading all these tragedies across America because I'm like, there's so much pain in this country that we think it's a drum. We think it's Bootsy playing bass. That shit is heavy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how do we tell people, oh, that's my issue, bro. I usually tug on more than one balloon strand at a time within these several directions, which my work is always myself writing more than one poem. If I showed you my screen, I have at least 20 pieces I'm working on.
Mm.
And I'm saying, and a lot of them have the meat of it, but it's like, I like where it's going, but there has to be something else. Because my thing is, I need to write a poem that teaches me something. Then I know it's not an origin of me.
Wow.
Because as long as we write what we know, it's okay. It's safe.
It's safe, yeah.
It's safe to write what we know. But write what you know, then go through and add the things you don't.
You don't know. Wow.
Then it'll mess you up, because it's like, oh yeah, I remember this now. I remember where I read that. I read that in so-and-so's book, or I Googled that and read that in Dr. Joseph Ben Yokanan's book, or I read that in Yeats or Keats or whatever it is. But these poems didn't come via one mode of transportation. Sometimes I catch a star on a surfboard, on a scooter, skates, and then I see this line. I'm like, yeah, that's that line. I know where that line came from, and it's just one line. So I don't think we write poems. We build poems. We build poems from scratch, and we build poems because we've learned how to build things, because we've always had to build things, because we didn't have the things we thought we needed in our homes, in our houses. We didn't know we were struggling, but because nobody told us, but we were happy. But we learned to build things that we didn't have, because that's what we did to get something.
Yeah. Yeah. We had to. Yeah. And it's still that today.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now we're building poems, and I'm building this poem, and I'm hoping that once you get it, you can see that it might need a ladder. So could you build a ladder to reach this poem?
Yeah.
Or All right, it may need some rope. So could you build a rope to get this poem off the ground to lift it up so people can walk across this bridge?
Yeah.
How do we see it? You know, it matters how we say it. So it definitely matters how we see it.
Wow. How do we see it? Mm. Bro, I tell you, it's the man, it's the words that you choose, you know. And I had to learn that in my old age. The words that you use, right? Right now, how do we see it?
You say in your old age.
My old age.
but let me tell you, let me tell you what I'm researching right now.
Okay.
What's your girl Scar? What Scar her name?
Star.
Star. Okay. Yeah. What Star said the other day, because Star said that this doctor told her she cannot remember the word or what it's called. But this doctor told her gray doesn't appear because God snuck down while you sleep and had a paintbrush and start painting your shit. It said gray appears because your melanin needed help, so it drew the black from your hair, the black from your scalp down to your bones, because it said we need this help and we all here together.
When she said that,
I'm trying to figure out, I need to take care of my melanin because ain't too much more black it can draw.
Bro, when she said that, I instantly thought about how many of us run and die out here. But if you think about it like this, you have everything you needed to heal you. So why are you hiding that you healing your own self? Why are you running from your own self?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. We've always had everything we needed. It's just that nobody told us.
Nobody told us. We didn't understand how the elders walked around and their hair be silver. And they sleep good, they eat good, digestive system rolling right. They get, you know what I'm saying? They get everything they need. Got all their teeth in their mouth.
You know, when the first line you said, I used to spend summers with both my grandmothers.
Wow.
My grandmother in Wink, Texas, she used to dip snuff.
Okay.
She dip snuff every day. So one day I say, I'm gonna try some of that shit. Man, I stuck that snuff in my lip. That shit was hot. That shit was nasty. I was spitting for about 2 weeks because there was still grains of snuff around. I couldn't rinse my mouth enough, couldn't brush my teeth enough. But I'd be outside and get stung by a bee, or because I was a neighborhood exterminator. No matter where I lived, I'd go get rid of beehives and wasp nests and yellow jackets and tarantulas and snakes, and you know, I kill ants and what, you know, and I got stung by, you know, a couple of bumblebees. And she said, you know, this is going well up, and I'm like, no, they can just, I just pull a little sting out, because a bee dies after it leaves the stinging. Just pull a sting out, and it'd be there for a minute. She said, wait a minute. And she slapped that snuff on her, and it was stinging for a minute, then it'd be gone. I'm like, that shit's magic. But that was a couple of remedies for everything.
Yeah.
That worked. Can't just say pass the collection plate. There was a couple of remedies that worked, and I was just so amazed that I start remembering things my grandmother would tell me.
Mm-hmm.
And it mattered, because I have this one short poem in What If There Were No Titles, and it's talking about hope.
Wow.
And it says, my grandmother taught me the over and under method of knitting. So every day I sit knitting hope a sweater.
Wow.
So at the end it says, I just want you to know that hope needs you to believe in hope, needs you to believe in hope, needs you to understand that hope is here and hope is ready and hope is wherever you need it, even if it's wearing an uneven knitted sweater.
Wow. It's the weight of the words, bro. But I told you, even reading it, if I can't hear your voice, I don't get it. I don't get all that I'm supposed to have from it. You know what I'm saying?
I get it, because I read Mr. Witts, because I told you Saturday I'm riding around with Mr. Witts on my phone, got it blasting, ain't got nothing else on, and my girl be talking about, he a preacher, ain't he? I was like, yep, he a preacher. You better duck, because the words coming out of his mouth ain't gonna be what you think a preacher ought to say.
Ain't gonna be. I've No, now I think I'm 3 years older than Wits. And when we've gotten to become teenagers, I always tell him that if I had an older brother, I would want him to be that, right?
Okay.
Just to switch roles with him would be great. Then I can follow his lead. I can follow his lead on a lot of things. He has this personality. His spirit is from someplace else. I don't know how he handles the things he handles, but I don't even know how he makes it through his day handling all the shit he handles. But then to watch him go into his creativity with all this shit he got on his back, which carry a U-Haul truck full on his back every day, and people don't know it. You know,
Now I believe it.
When poets say, you know, I get free when I get on stage, shit, you ain't got to tell me because I watch it in my brother, you know. And I told him, I said, hell, I would trade my writing to write like you.
Now, I believe because I know somebody told me, say, man, I just want to write like you.
Yeah.
I say, let me explain something to you. I say, you write like you write because of what you've been through.
What you've been through.
Because of what you go through. Because of what you pay attention to. I say, I think my head needs screws because evidently it keeps turning around because I pay attention to everything.
Everything.
I said, I think this life is so heavy because I got all these people and all these problems and all these ancestors on my back demanding I pay attention to what they went through. I say, I can't pay attention to what I'm going through because my ancestors say that it's shit people don't know they need to read.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to write history, the present, the future, the past tense, the present tense. I'm trying to write all this stuff. And sometimes it's in one poem. And I didn't ask for it to be that way.
That wasn't part of the plan.
Yeah, you know, I'm saying I just picked up a pen and it started dancing and shit and acting up. I'm like, this pen is regurgitating all over this page, and I gotta try and clean it up so my desk don't be blue.
Wow. There is so I can't wait to go back to revisit this video. Only because I know there are so many things that I wasn't able to grab. And I know the people in there, because there's a lot of people commenting in the feed. I'm gonna give you the video so you can have it. But a lot of people are commenting, saying things. And like I said, when the preacher speaks, nobody believes the preacher. They just with the word of the preacher. He just becomes a carrier, and that's a fact when it comes to you. I always say it. When you're speaking, I don't even see you no more because the word is so bright. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like you said, some people, you see light differently. You hear sound differently. Sometimes you need the bass to go up. Sometimes you need to turn the tweeter down. Sometimes you got to put the sun on because you got to put your shades on because the light is just too damn bright. But you still get to see it. You still live through it. You just got to live through it in your way. And it's, man, bro, I always tell you, it's the weight in the message.
Now, but when you say in the beginning was the word, that was the whole thing you said. My girl told me, she said, well, why are you writing all these poems? Because I'm trying to finish my sequel to the Black Book, The Black Still Black.
Okay.
So all the poems, you know, Black Bodies, Black Bullets, Black Dreams, all those poems going in that book.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Centuries of Misunderstanding. So I wrote her a poem in the midst of all this. So I wrote a love poem. And the main riff of the love poem, it says, I've heard in the beginning was the word. Now I say, if in the beginning was a word, I've heard it was a poem about you.
Wow. 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 I don't even have nothing.
Huh?
I don't have nothing. I can't say shit.
No, but I keep telling her, I say, every poem I write is a love poem to you, whether I'm talking about my ancestors or talking about anything else. Let me read this short poem right here I wrote. It's called Play Me Some Jazz. It's not even anything you think I write. It said, Play Me Some Jazz. It says, when she spoke, it was music. Made my heart dance as if beats wore feet. Some days I sit back just to listen. I would whisper in her ear, play me some jazz. The way she walked was an upright bass. Her smile a cello with a host of tenor saxophones painting background. She whispered in violins with a hint of oboe. How can anyone be this beautiful as notes? She was sheet music, if ever sheets could play music. Often I wait until right past midnight, whisper softly in her ear, play me some jazz. She smiles as if angels sit gracefully in the corners of her lips. Her eyes were a string section complete with xylophone and harp. Her caress was as soft as a viola or piccolo, able to touch ears and hearts at the same time. She was every instrument you could imagine. She was Billie Holiday, a Billie Holiday melody with an Ella Fitzgerald scat. A Cervon song sung by Nina Simone and Aretha Franklin. She was jazz personified, music encased in the most beautiful skin. She was hum and chorus, the lead legs in your favorite opera. She was jazz whenever I asked, always played in the perfect melody of love. She is the perfect melody of love. And every day I ask her in whispers, play me some jazz.
Shit. You can use that in the slam, and damn it.
Wow. But J Love say, for those of us whose pen still crawls, you make us believe someday it can dance.
Wow. Wow.
But that was a writing prompt, you know, somebody gave me from a poem I wrote to say, okay, you ought to write a poem, play me some jazz. And I always write, I'm saying, okay, because my challenge is that I can make something be if I have an idea of what it's supposed to be.
What it's supposed to be. That's the whole thing.
And see, I created a book, this right here. What if there were no titles?
Uh-huh.
This is table of contents.
Wow.
Blank.
Wow.
Blank with page numbers. Every poem starts with a hashtag because I decided to challenge myself. I say, can I make a poem be that wasn't there before?
Wow.
Can I paint a picture? We have to look on the back side of the canvas to see what I drew.
Wow.
I said, so now tell me what it's called. So every poem you can title yourself. You can write the title on it and stuff like that. And it was an idea that came to me. So every book I have is a different idea, just like the Black Book of Black. I'd never seen a black book with black pages.
Me either.
Especially with a cotton ball on each page. So I was like, if I was gonna write a book about the history of us from Africa to now, it would have to be black.
Yeah.
I say it would have to have charters instead of chapters. So I put charters because there was over 35,000 charter round trips from Africa to all these countries. So if there was any verses in there, biblically, there would be charters instead of chapters. So I wrote, you know, from the unwritten book of the book of niggas. Because I started writing the book of niggas, it was gonna be the Black Bible.
Yes, bro. Wow. That I'm still stuck on that jazz piece. I got a jazz piece. It says jazz me a song. Rhythm and blues me back to real music. I need some Coltrane while riding this cold train, traveling miles to Davis Land. Somebody call him the monk. You know, I mean, I throw all the jazz heads in there, but that poem, bro. Yeah,
no, but that's right too, because just the opening lines of the poem, I know the region that you live in. Because Coltrane, while riding this cold train, there's places that you ride trains to that you wouldn't ride in other places. So you already told me the origin of where you came from. So I understand that you are going to Davis Land, that you are going to the homeless where these people came from, because that's the region they came from. So there's lessons in a poem if you listen close enough to understand that I'm not listening to what you wrote. I'm listening to what you lived.
What you live. That's the key to this. Oh man. Listen, we only got a minute left, man. AJ, brother, I love you.
Man, I love you too, man.
The fact that you are able to teach, you will be back on here again, that's for sure. I want to do something different with you on another platform, and we'll talk about that. But it's an honor to have you here. All y'all.
We didn't talk about voting. We didn't talk about our plan. We didn't talk about finalizing our ideas. So that has to be a show by itself.
I should be home most of the time today too. I got some things I got to get off the table, but we'll talk about that.
No, let's go live on Instagram and just finish this conversation.
That could work. That could work. So listen, everybody that's on, we going on Instagram live. Just hold tight. We're gonna come back to y'all in a minute. I got 30 seconds. Follow AJ Houston. You can find him on all outlets. Definitely find him. I'm gonna get you all this information when we go on the live. So follow. Get on my IG live.
But hold up on Instagram when we start. We can't start with a conversation. You got to start with a poem.
I'm gonna start with that jazz poem.
Okay.
All right, that'll work. Thank y'all for tuning in. We're gonna see y'all next week, same time. Same
Thank everybody. Follow me, AJ Word Artist. I got books. If you like, if you want to buy a book, just DM me and I'll